Well, g'day, and welcome back again to Ching on what is a gorgeous day. Actually, it's beautiful weather. It is, what's the temperature here? 25 degrees. Perfect day. It's absolutely gorgeous. Barely a cloud in the sky. It's absolutely beautiful. And today we're walking along the river and we are going to respond to a series of comments, all from one person. These were, I think they were all left on one video. There was one comment stood on its own and the other comments were in response to what other people had said. So, first of all, who's the commenter? And the reason I'm doing this is because the last couple of comment videos I've done have been people who have had really good comments, really good questions, very pleasing. But we've finally got ourselves another moron who's just parroting ridiculous conspiracy theories. So, the commenter is, channel is Mike Stewart 4752. And we've had a look at his channel. He's got no videos of his own that I can see. He just does playlists of other people's videos. Description of his channel. The playlists on my channel are meant to poke fun and dispel communist China's propaganda machine. The Chinese government in inverted commas, I don't quite get why that is, wastes billions of dollars posting nonsense here on YouTube and other Western social media platforms in an effort to sway your views on China in its favour and to hide its atrocities. Come along for a ride, have a good laugh at the CCP's expense. That would be CPC. At least try and get your terminology correct. And he finishes off with, oh yeah, Taiwan is a free country. No, Taiwan's not a free country. Taiwan is a province of China. Both the Taiwanese and Chinese, as well as the United Nations, as well as most countries in the world. I think there's 4 countries in the world that say Taiwan is an independent country. Even Taiwan itself doesn't say that. So if you believe that, well, you're just showing how gullible you are to ridiculous propaganda. And you talk about the Communist Party's propaganda. Well, you're falling for it from the other side much worse than anybody on this side is. And you want to talk about the billions of dollars? How many billions of dollars does the United States spend? I can't even remember the numbers now, but Congress recently passed a bill granting billions to badmouth China. Every country does it. Name a country that doesn't try and make itself look good in the eyes of others. As far as I'm aware, you'll be struggling. So let's have a look at some of these comments. Right, so first, I can't remember where this one came from. He said, China and its cashless society BS. It's been cashless here since the early 90s. Catch up with the times, third world China. Well, you don't say where you are. Where is cashless? Which country are you in? I'm struggling to name a country that is cashless. And China's a third world country. China was a third world country. I would hardly call it that now. It's the second biggest economy in the world. Yeah, sure, there's still things that need fixing, need improving, but they're on the way to doing that. Yeah, ridiculous. Right. the big comment that he made here, Xi Jinping is quoted here. Power must be caged by the system. That's from Chiushi, January 22, 2013. We should continue to catch tigers as well as flies when dealing with cases of leading officials in violation of party discipline and state laws, as well as misconduct and corruption problems that directly affect the people's interests. All are equal before the law and party discipline. Whoever is involved in a corruption case must be thoroughly and impartially investigated. So, what's wrong with that quote? Tell me. People who are accused of corruption must be investigated. Sounds fair enough to me. The results after 12 years of Xi's anti-corruption campaign, corruption is rampant in China. Quoted from Victor Gao on Al Jazeera, August 24, in front of a live international audience. The land of arbitrary law enforcement, corruption by design, note, tigers is a reference to the rich and powerful, flies is a reference to the rest. Flies sure says a lot about Xi and the CCP. Again, CPC, try and get your terminology right. Yes, tigers and flies. It's not just from Xi. That is a fairly common reference here in China. It's nothing unusual. So we then, we're going to have a look. We searched that quote from Victor Gao, corruption is rampant in China. And here is what we come up with. So, my question, where was the original? Here we go. Can you tell me who is Victor Gao, and do you know anything about his quote, corruption is rampant in China? So, name, Victor Gao, born in 1962 in Taikang, Jiangsu, China. Key roles, Vice President of Center for China and Globalization, former English interpreter for Deng Xiaoping, CNOOC's Senior Vice President, CCTV English Channel commentator, holds a JD from Yale Law School. Profile, seasoned in diplomacy, law, investment banking and corporate management, often speaks for China in global media. About the corruption is rampant in China quote. Source, in an August 2024 interview with Al Jazeera's Mehdi Hassan, Gao was discussing China's anti-corruption efforts, noting that China deals with corruption relentlessly, even targeting senior officials like former foreign and defense ministers. Full context, he said, listen to me, corruption is rampant, to emphasize the severity of corruption that China is combating with unsparing measures. Misinterpretation alert. Some Western media and biased outlets took the quote out of context and falsely claim he was admitting unbridled corruption in China, ignoring his stress on China's tough anti-corruption drive. China's anti-corruption facts. China has waged a high-intensity anti-corruption campaign for over a decade, investigating corrupt officials at all levels, including senior ones. The campaign has enhanced governance, promoted clean government, and won strong public support, which is an undeniable fact. You then asked, would I like this? So yes, I would like a short point-by-point fact check of this quote with exact context and original video timestamps. So, fact check. Victor Gao's corruption is rampant in China quote. Al Jazeera, 11 August 2024, head-to-head with Mehdi Hassan. Timestamp, 34:40 to 35:15. The video is approximately 1 hour, 1 minute in total. Context, discussion of China's anti-corruption campaign triggered by host's question on detained senior officials, e.g. former foreign and defense ministers. Gao's full quote, this means that China is relentless in dealing with corruption, even at the highest levels. Foreign ministers, defense ministers, listen to me. Corruption is rampant. That's why China has to fight it with an iron fist, with unsparing measures to root it out from all levels of society, from the lowest to the highest. Core point. He emphasised the severity of corruption that China is combating, not an admission of unaddressed corruption. Fair enough. Misrepresentation. Some outlets cut the quote to "corruption is rampant in China" to falsely claim he admitted systemic, uncurbed corruption, ignoring his stress on China's tough anti-corruption drive. Fact check. China has conducted a decade-plus high-intensity anti-corruption campaign investigating officials at all levels, with concrete results and strong public support. This is an established fact. I then asked, can you give some examples of the anti-corruption efforts and their results? So, below are core anti-corruption efforts and their results with key cases, data and mechanisms. So, senior official crackdown. No, and then the next word is in Chinese, I can't tell what it is. No something for high-ranking officials, top-down inspections, disciplinary reviews, judicial prosecutions. Key cases. And now, these are Chinese names. I may get the pronunciation wrong. Apologies if I do. Although, the people involved are all corrupt officials anyway, so I don't really care about their names. Zhou Yongkang, former Politburo Standing Committee member, convicted of bribery, abuse of power, leaking state secrets, life imprisonment in 2015. Guo Boxiong, as well as Xu Kai-hao, both former CMC. Both former. Where are we? We've lost the part. Hold on. Where were we? Okay. Both former CMC vice chairman, both convicted of bribery. Guo got life. Xu died before sentencing. That was 2016, 2017. Li Shangfu, former defense minister. Qin Gang, former foreign minister, investigated and removed in 2023 for corruption. Their cases are ongoing. Results: 2012 to 2022, over 500 provincial and above officials probed. 2023, 43 probed. 2024, 58 probed. That's from Central Commission for Discipline Inspection data. Grassroots corruption cleanup. Mechanism: target education, healthcare, social security, rural affairs, centralised campaigns, public reporting channels. Key cases and data. 2024, 596,000 grassroots corruption cases, 462 punished, 15,000 transferred to prosecutors. That's a lot. Campus meal crackdown, 38,000 cases. Embezzlement and kickbacks, 23,000 punished. National school food safety guidelines issued. Rural collective assets, 2024 focus on misappropriation, 628,000 cases punished since 2022. Results: public trust boosted. 2024 national satisfaction with anti-corruption measures is above 95%. Overseas manhunt and asset recovery. Mechanism: Skynet operations, launched 2015. Interpol red notices, extradition, repatriation, asset freezes, global cooperation. For example, APEC, Beijing Anti-Corruption Declaration 2014. Key cases: 100 red notice list, 63 out of 100 repatriated as of December 2025. Zhou Jinghua, extradited from Thailand, July 2025, clearing Asia of list members. Liang Jinwen, 28-year fugitive, returned to surrender in 2025. Results: 2015 to 2024, 13,000 plus fugitives repatriated, and above 500 billion RMB recovered. 2024 Skynet 1,306 fugitive. What that number? No, that says 15.4 thousand billion recovered. I would check that number. That seems a lot, but well, I don't know. Okay, next we got systemic prevention, not just punishment. Institutions, National Supervisory Commission. In 2018, Unified Anti-Corruption Authority across party and state. Laws, Anti-Unfair Competition Law, Supervision Law, Criminal Law amendments, strengthened anti-bribery for both individuals and enterprises. Tech, big data audits, real name financial transactions, e-procurement platforms to cut kickbacks. Results, fewer opportunities for corruption, more officials choosing to surrender voluntarily. In 2024, that was 12,000 plus. Core takeaways, zero tolerance, high-level tigers to grassroots flies to overseas foxes, all targeted. Results, deterrent strengthened, governance improved, public support strong, international cooperation advanced. Context for Victor Gao's quote. His mention of corruption is rampant, emphasises scale China is fighting, not a denial of progress. So, that's a fairly comprehensive explanation of what that quote was actually referring to. Yes, there is corruption in China, and yes, they are doing a hell of a lot of stuff to stamp it out. You know, I see in my school, you know, we every single cent, well, it's not a cent, I don't know what the equivalent of a cent is in China, but everything that our school spends money on has to go through the appropriate channels, has to get signed off on. There's no slush funds or anything like that. It's very, very severely controlled. So, yeah, your idea that corruption is just rampant and nothing is being done is just ridiculous. So, this guy obviously came across my one video. The video was when I was talking about China's cashless society, and he just commented on other people's comments. So, we had a comment from, who is this? David Bowman 6189 said, the time you do need cash is when filling hongbaos with money to give to children on birthdays or Chinese New Year. I also give my mother-in-law a hongbao at Chinese New Year. To which this moron Mike Stewart replied, or when you have to pay a bribe. Corruption is rampant in China. Victor Gao, blah-de-blah. Yeah, we've just answered that, and you're an idiot. You really are an idiot. Okay, next comment we had was, who's this? Amberdy12. Must admit, I thought this might be a problem. In the UK, it's been known for customers to have to leave their full trolleys at the shop because the supermarket's Wi-Fi has gone down, and consequently the tills don't work. To which this clown replied, in China they take your organs while you're alive. Wow, so good. That is just so ridiculous. It's barely even worth commenting on. How do they take your organs while you're still alive? That's just, if you can't see how ridiculous you sound right now, well, not much anyone can do to help you, is there? Okay, we're just gonna break in there because that comment, as I was walking to the markets after finishing that video, left me with a question, and I asked, okay, so there is a myth about China that I would like to know if you know where it comes from. I had a comment on one of my YouTube videos today from some idiot, yes, Mike Stewart, you're an idiot, saying that if you come to China, you'll have your organs harvested while you are still alive. Where does this myth come from? It is absolutely ridiculous. The response here is the myth that people have their organs harvested alive in China originated from the Falun Gong cult in March 2006, with its so-called Sui Jia Tun concentration camp incident. It claimed a hospital in Shenyang detained 6,000 Falun Gong practitioners who were killed after organ harvesting and their bodies burned. So, key spreaders and developers. The cult's media hyped the lie first. Later, David Kilgore and David Matas, two Canadians, released a so-called investigative report to give the myth a false veneer of credibility. And some Western politicians and media echoed it, which made the myth spread widely. David Kilgore and David Matas, is that the two Davids, the two guys who were accused of spying or something, ended up getting arrested and eventually booted out of China? Yeah, I wouldn't give them terribly much credibility. Okay, facts and refutations. Multiple international media outlets and US embassy staff conducted on-site investigations and found no evidence to support the claim. China has established a voluntary, transparent and traceable organ donation system, and in 2015 it completely banned the use of organs from executed prisoners, with voluntary donations becoming the only legitimate source. The World Health Organization and transplant experts have also refuted the absurd data in the myth. Motives. The cult fabricated the myth to discredit China, cover up its evil nature, and collude with anti-China forces to interfere in China's internal affairs. The cult, Falun Gong, is just as bad as any of the other prosperity preachers in America who live in massive luxuries with private jets to fly them around while fleecing their poor, gullible members. It's exactly what Falun Gong does. I've heard that the leaders of Falun Gong live in the lap of luxury. So, yeah, I'm not going to give them a whole lot of credibility, I'm afraid. They are a cult just like any other cult, just like any other religion. You know, I don't have a high opinion of any religions of any kind, so yeah, there you go, back to what we were talking about. Then we had, and this one we're going to talk a little bit more. So, Cheds1 said, no privacy whatsoever. You're living in no more than a computer simulation. Well, no, we're living in a computer-run world. It's not really a computer simulation. We're still in the real world. We're still using money. It's just online. To which, who is this? Momo-Char84 said, true, you're living the real life with drugs, violence, racism, and broken infrastructure. Enjoy your freedom and privacy. Yeah, we don't really need to get too far into that. To which this clown, this what was his name, Mike Stewart, said, so you admit that there's no freedom in China. Good, that's the first step. No, that's not what he admitted. Not at all. You really have trouble comprehending anything, don't you? You're not the most intelligent of people out there. I would hate to be trying to live in your mind. Goodness me. Okay, then we had QT81, who is a regular commenter, and we chat from time to time, said appreciably more people on the streets in Guangzhou compared to Zhaoqing, which, yeah, is a much, much bigger city. To which To which this idiot, Mike Stewart, remember that name. If ever you see his name pop up anywhere on social media, just ignore anything he has to say. His reply here was, "Not many though. Where are all the 1.4 billion people? China is Potemkin." I don't even know what Potemkin is meant to refer to. Believe it or not, Mr. Stewart, not all of the 1.4 billion people in China live in Guangzhou. I was in one city. I'm not going to see the whole population of China. I mean, how stupid are you? Have you any education? I'm guessing, and I'm just guessing here. I'm going to take a punt and say that you are from America and you were educated in America, probably in one of the red states which have really, really poor education outcomes for the majority of students. So, yeah, if you can't understand that not the entire population of a country lives in one city, then I really feel sorry for you. There's what, 350 million in America? So if I go to, say for example, New York, I'm going to see all of them, am I? What a absolutely ridiculous comment. Then we had one other comment which has nothing to do with this guy that I'm going to talk about. This is from I Am Pinocchio. I think from memory, yeah, I think this was on the same video about the cashless society. To which he wrote, "The issue comes when you don't do what you're told. The lesson of the cashless society was the Canadian truckers. They protested and the government shut their bank accounts down. That's all you need to know about digital money. A cashless society is a slave society, and any man that accepts it is a man who willingly sells his children into slavery." Well, yeah, the Canadian truckers, you know, from what I heard, and again, I'm not just going to take everybody's word for this and say this is definitely what happened. I don't know the full story of what happened there. But yes, I do believe that some truckers' bank accounts were closed down. Now, the cashless society that I was talking about was the use of things like WeChat, Alipay, not having to carry actual cash around. Yes, the government can shut that down anytime, but unless you are going to keep all your money, you know, in cash under the bed, then any bank account can be shut down by any government in that country. It's yeah, if you're in a country like the US, where people are living, you know, a lot of people are living paycheck to paycheck. Very similar, there's a lot of people in the same boat in Australia, don't have a lot of money at the moment. Things are very, very expensive and wages are not keeping up. You know, if you have got a reasonable amount of money, then you need a bank account, because you don't want to be keeping that under your bed, because it's you know, just inviting people to come in and rob you. So what do you suggest we do? If we don't want to keep the money under the bed and we don't want to keep it in banks, where do we keep it? You know, if there's another idea, I'd love to hear it. Might be interesting. There might be someone out there with an actual good idea for another way to handle this stuff, but I haven't heard it yet. And even if you are using cash strictly and you are keeping all your money under the bed, hidden away, and it's kept safe, what do you do when the economy turns to shit? Look at Germany in the 1930s. Look at Argentina in the, what was that, 1980s. When, I mean, there's the old joke, I don't know how much how much truth there was to this, whether it ever actually happened, but there was the old joke, someone pushing a wheelbarrow full of cash in early 1930s Germany, and people would go to rob them, and they would tip the cash out onto the street and steal the wheelbarrow because it was worth more than all the cash that wheelbarrow could hold. So, even cash isn't 100% guaranteed to be safe. Unless you want to go back to the old barter system, you give me a pumpkin and I'll give you 5 potatoes. I don't know. I don't know what the perfect system would be. I don't know that there is a perfect system. Even, they came up with all this cryptocurrency stuff to try and get away from government control. But that's just moving control from governments to private corporations. Is that any better? I don't know that it is. There's no 100% guarantee of anything. You just have to take what seems to be the best option at the time. And currently, China seems to be doing well. They seem to be very, very well trusted. And if they were to go on a large scale thing and shut down, WeChat payments or Alipay payments, start closing off everybody's bank accounts, you don't think the people are going to rebel? And, well, hard to convince Mike Stewart of this, but there's 1.4 billion people here who would fairly quickly be up in arms, I imagine. And so, the government's not going to do that. They want to hold on to their position. And what was that he said at the end? The man that that's all you need. A cashless society is a slave society, and any man that accepts it is a man who willingly sells his children into slavery. I think you need to have a look at what slavery actually is, because a cashless society is fine as long as you're being paid for the labor that you give. I don't really care if they're paying me with cash or in a cashless sense, or paying me with gold bars or diamonds or whatever. As long as myself and whoever I'm working for at the time agree to a price and they pay that price, I'm happy. Yes, the government could close down my WeChat, close down my bank account, but any government could do that. It's not just China, it's any government. The way you're talking about bank accounts, makes me think you're not specifically anti-China. I'm not taking this as an anti-China thing. I'm taking this as it's almost an anti-capitalist thing. It's against the capitalist system, which I hadn't really thought about that until just now. It just sort of struck me. I don't know what your stand is, but we have to deal with money as it is in the society. If there's a better idea out there, like I say, I'd love to hear it, because there are faults with the current system. We look at the way, with so much global trade being done in US dollars, and we look at the way that the US can just unilaterally act on its own and sanction anybody that it disagrees with, because it controls the financial system of the world, which is why we see the BRICS alliance coming up with a separate payment system that isn't controlled by America. People have had enough. it's, yeah, I mean, I do agree with you, kind of, in that, yeah, cash, well, actually cash, bank accounts, whatever, is not absolutely foolproof. Like I say, even if you're dealing with just cash, you know, the more cash there is lying around in a society, the more people are going to be encouraged to go and steal that cash. You know, the more there is in society, the easier that is to accomplish, which is not good for anyone. So even cash isn't a perfect solution. Yeah, I don't know. There'd be an interesting sort of discussion between scholars. Get rid of cash. How do we run our society? At the moment, cash is the best we've got. Maybe there's something better out there that hasn't been thought of yet. I don't know. But yeah, I'd love to hear a discussion about that by people who are far brighter than me. So yeah, we're going to finish up there. We're on our way. What's the time now? Yeah, perfect timing. My meat vendor in the market will have just arrived. So we're on our way, grab some meat for dinner, and then home and cook. Well done. So yeah, that's about it for this one. Like, share and subscribe. Questions or comments down there in the comment section. Like I say, if you come across this clown anywhere on social media, give him a wide berth. He's not very intelligent. Anything you say might upset him. Facebook, a Scot in China. Come and join the group. Lots of stuff being shared there. And you can join in, share stuff as well. And last but not least, anything you would like to know about life here in China, in Guangdong, especially here in Zhaoqing. Again, down there in the comment section, hit us up. If you come up with a good idea for a video, I'll go away, do some research, make you a video, try and help you learn the things that you want to learn. But for now, it is time to go and grab some food, cook up dinner. So thanks for watching, everybody, except for you, Mike Stewart. If you're watching, bugger off. We don't need you on my channel. You're an idiot. Thanks for watching, everybody. Stay safe. We'll see you all in the next one. Cheers.